Well, hello, everyone. This is John Byrne with Poets&Quants. Welcome back to our undergraduate webinar. We have now a session on where can a Gies business degree take you? And we have a recent alum from 2016 who works in investment banking, Abhinav, and I'm going to try it again, Brahmamdam, maybe, something like that.
I'll take it.
Okay, we're going to just call it Abhinav, because that's really easy. And we have the Assistant Director of Career Advising with us as well, Anabel, Galan. Is it Galan or Galan?
You got it, Galan.
Galan, okay. Hey, I got that. That's fantastic. Why don't we start with you, Abhinav? Tell us a little bit about what you do and how you got your role.
Yeah, definitely. So like you mentioned, John, and I just want to say thanks to everyone for taking the time, and thank you for having me on here. I'm really excited and love to talk about my Illinois and Gies experience, wearing my Illinois business casual shirt on that I got from campus, and excited for the college basketball season as well. But as you mentioned, I graduated in 2016 with a degree in finance and actually did a minor in the liberal arts school in political science because that's a big interest of mine. And joined full-time at Moelis & Company in investment banking, which is an independent advisory firm focused on mergers and acquisitions across multiple sectors, restructuring assignments, and capital raising initiatives as well. And I interned there my junior year, and then was fortunate enough to join full-time. Started out as an analyst and really enjoyed it, and fortunately got promoted to an associate. So I've been in that role for the last couple of years, and one of the few folks have probably survived 5+ years in investment banking. But we have a lot of Gies alumni at our institution, and so that definitely helps, and the culture is great and enjoying the work. But thanks again for having me, and excited to have this discussion.
Let me ask you, what was the appeal of investment banking? We know the hours can be long and very pressure packed at times, because when companies are working on deals, the deadlines are endless and they all must be met. But there's also an excitement to that business. It's very sophisticated. You've got incredibly smart people in it. And you're doing great work because you're helping make stuff happen. But what was the appeal for you?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think all that you hit on, John, is true. There's definitely ups and downs for sure. Like at a high level, the appeal really, and a senior told me this when I was end of my freshman year, but you're one step away from the movers and shakers of the economy. So, Baxter Healthcare just acquired Hillrom, huge public company, billions of dollars of deals in the medical sector, supplies, and investment banks on both sides are working with those companies. And you're one step away from the CEO making those decisions, impacting the economy, impacting the end consumer. And being a part of those discussions and being in the room appealed to me, and learning in such a fast-paced environment right out of the gate when you're 22, 23 years old, and taking that education you learn in college, applying it, and then seeing where the future goes and seeing how business operates. That really appealed to me, and I wanted to hit the ground running. I will say, like you mentioned, it might not be a long-term career in terms of hours and personal family relationships and balancing it all. But your first few years out of university, and especially with the education we had at Gies, it really helped me. And there's a strong network of folks from Champaign that are in this industry, and it's been nice. You can rely on each other as you get through some of the longer nights, and working in Chicago or New York or San Francisco, there's a community you can get outside the office to just share stories, share horror stories, so to speak, but also the fun stuff too. There's a lot of positives as well.
Absolutely. Now, Anabel, you've been helping people, students, find themselves, advise on their career. How many years have you been at Gies, and tell me exactly how you fulfill the role of career advising?
Yes, so I have been in this role for about 3 years, well, a little over 3 years now, 3.5 probably. And we do a lot for our students. So we offer the traditional career advising and through scheduled appointments, or what we call drop-in hours, where students can just kind of walk in with their questions. We also do a lot of workshop programming to help students learn about career paths and like just professional etiquette, how to customize a resume, how to interview, how to negotiate an offer. But we also offer a lot of opportunities for students to engage with employers, networking opportunities. So for example, one of the kind of signature events that we've started is partnering with our B101 course. This is a course that all new students take as they come into the college, and we have worked so that students actually get to interact with employers as soon as their freshman year, so they know what to expect when they're having those conversations with the different companies and things like that. So that's something we also try to get students engaged on as soon as they come into the college.
That's great. And I think that introduction to all the different possibilities in business is absolutely necessary for someone who's just coming to the college. In fact, I wonder, Abhinav, did you even know what investment banking was when you were a freshman?
Oh, heck no. I think someone asked me that and I thought it was, you're managing really rich people's monies, which is the exact opposite. That's wealth management. But Anabel is totally right. I remember submitting my resume before I even stepped foot on campus to Business 101, the section leaders. They would critique it. And then within a week or two, you had a resume critique with an employer. And mine was with someone in Caterpillar in manufacturing. And so they're critiquing your resume, you're making contacts and relationships. And then a couple of weeks after that, you're part of this Business 101, you go to career fair and you have to meet at least 5 people and, write about it. And so I was meeting folks from all different sorts, marketing, IT management, finance, accounting. And then it really starts turning the wheels and you get exposed to different industries throughout. And fortunately for me, I got exposed through an alumni to the investment banking field and kind of led me down that path. But I was a Business 101 section leader when I was a sophomore, junior, and senior. And it's really, really neat and awesome to see a freshman come in really open-minded and then, within a year, figure out, their kind of path they want to go to, or take their time and explore different paths, whether it's job shadows, internships, information sessions on campus. It's pretty unique and neat. And I'm smiling because I kind of wish I could go back and explore even more careers and go down that path.
Yeah, and I've been on the Gies campus when resume review occurs in the atrium, and all the companies have their booths, and they help all the students refine and perfect their resumes, which I think is a terrific service from everyone, as you pointed out, Caterpillar, Ernst & Young, Deloitte, and so on. And it's great to see, actually. There's a buzz of activity in an atrium when that occurs, and lines with people waiting to have their resumes reviewed. And this gets to another thing about business school. I'm an unabashed supporter of business education because so much attention is paid to what's going to happen when you graduate. If you're a history major, a philosophy major, or like me, an English and political science major, let me tell you, there's no discussion of careers at work. There is no preparation for how do you interview well, for how do you present, how do you collaborate with others, how do you have a professional presence. All of these things are part and parcel of a good business education. And I'm sure you experienced all of this, Abhinav, when you were at the school, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's one of the underappreciated aspects of the Gies education. And it's, you don't learn the soft skills, through accounting 101 or marketing 101. It's really the support system that's in place, whether it's folks like Anabel and Business Career Services, where they put on, workshops. Hey, what is your 30-second elevator pitch at a trade fair, career fair? How do you answer certain questions in interviews? And then there's also a lot of business organizations, RSOs, registered student organizations, where the whole sole purpose is to try and get you whatever job you want. And so there's a lot of mock interviews. There's a lot of resume critiques, a lot of just practicing, how you answer certain things, especially if it's more technical of a field like accounting or consulting with case studies. And so the resources are there. And honestly, the best part I think that we benefit from a smaller business school compared to larger schools. I think each class is like 800 folks. Is when you're a freshman, you make relationships with seniors and juniors. And then when it comes time to junior year, those are the folks, that are interviewing. And so I go down to campus, I'm doing first round interviews. I'm a little bit older now, but a couple of years ago, I remember the students, they were freshmen and I'm interviewing. And so you have that personal connection, which also really helps.
Yeah. Anabel, can you expand on how you support students in finding internships and job opportunities that fit with their own career goals and personal values?
Yes, absolutely. So as Abhinav mentioned, I would say the large majority of students attend our career fairs. So we have over 200 plus employers at the career fairs. There's one both in the fall and the spring semester. And usually a lot of students get prepped through their RSOs, through their peers, and also by our office who go up to the employers, talk to them. So the more traditional route, they definitely go and make those connections with those employers or those returning alumni, interview for those opportunities. And a lot of the times that's how they land their internships. But we also have some career exploration programs for students that are deciding between those different career paths. So we have a summer long program where students actually get to do informational interviewing with different alumni and just learn about the different options, different industries, different roles that they can go into, usually between their freshman and sophomore year. So if they're still kind of choosing what they want to do, there's those opportunities to learn more and not necessarily go straight into the interviewing. But I would say both options are available to students. So if they're still deciding or they know they absolutely want to do investment banking, there's those opportunities for them to engage right away.
Now, imagine that the career fairs are anxious times. If you're a young person and you really have a great desire to work for a specific company, you may feel that a lot is at stake. How do you put them at ease? How do you prepare them to meet an employer for the first time, a potential employer?
That's a great question. I would say there are a few different steps. So for a lot of the students, we try to make ourselves available as possible, especially during those high stress times leading up to career fair. We know it's a busy time, so we have additional hours for students to drop in. We also have peer career coaches who are able to assist. And these peer career coaches are able to kind of share or what's the word I'm looking for, bond over that same experience, because they are graduate students who are also searching for that internship or that full-time job, so they can kind of relate and help from that sense. But in terms of the advising team, again, we make ourselves available for those individual coaching appointments. We offer workshops just to give students an overview of not only what to expect at career fair, but how do you prepare, what's the information that you researched prior to it, how do you practice your introduction, what kind of questions should you be asking during your interactions, as well as how to follow up. And like in recent times, a lot of our career fairs have been virtual, so also helping them navigate those technical or technology platforms and how do they prepare so that technology doesn't become an issue when they are talking with these employers.
So a lot of hand-holding, a lot of support, a lot of encouragement, and maybe now and then, a pat on the back, and maybe some sympathy when things don't turn out so well.
Yes.
Abhinav, how did the school help you prepare for your interviews in investment banking? Because let's face it, you went after one of the most competitive positions and one of the most highly selective. How did they help you put your best foot forward?
Yeah, definitely. And one thing too, on that last point Anabel mentioned, the best part about the system and the support is when you're a freshman, you have that resume critique. Remember we talked about earlier.
Yes.
So a lot of the advice that we got, hey, the first person you should talk to at career fair is that same person to get the jitters out. And so you've already talked to that recruiter, and then you can go to other potential employers. So it makes things a little bit easier. But back to your question, John, really, really good question. And I think it bodes well for other highly, sought after or just competitive, roles such as management consulting or accounting or marketing, etc. I think there's a lot of good specialized programs in the business school here at Gies. So I was a part of Investment Banking Academy. You apply, you interview, you get in, but part of that whole program is to place individuals into investment banks, and you utilize, one, the Alumni Network, two, the faculty on campus, and learn from them who have industry contacts, and three, the upperclassmen who already have jobs. And so there's a lot of peer-to-peer mock interviews, technical analyses. You have a lot of case study work, assignments to make sure you understand the interview questions, the subject matter within finance and accounting. And there's a lot of support from the university in terms of office visits. So you go to Chicago, we would always fly to New York every year, and you meet face-to-face with potential employers before the interview. So building some of that personal rapport, and employers come down to, and Illinois is a sought after institution. So not only investment banking, but other career paths as well. There's a lot of folks in the atrium, like you mentioned earlier. And for us as college students, when I was one, everyone comes with free food. And so you're going to show up, you're going to interact, you're going to have some pizza. And I think all of that helps, really get your job. And it's, repetition, support. You become really close to your peers. And the folks I was interviewing with in investment banking and my friends, we were sometimes going for the same job, but you help each other out, and you just want to see everyone place, and it works out really well. And I know that program specifically has 100% placement ratio, since its inception, 6 or 7 years ago.
And you mentioned just recently the Alumni Network. How helpful was it, and how did you tap into it?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's ever present, for sure. University of Illinois, Gies for sure, but broader as well. And I think in a lot of business roles, sometimes you might have engineering grads or liberal arts grads as well, so you can tap into it that way. But a few different avenues. One, I think it's organizations on campus, that you're a part of, and you can reach into their alumni network. Two, it's through business career services or undergraduate affairs. So professors, faculty, folks like Anabel who can connect students with folks, like myself or other people that they've known through their tenure, that are happy to talk to. And then three, it's really, maybe it's your small town Midwestern Champaign feel, but a simple email or a LinkedIn message, it's crazy. People are very receptive to the Illinois, to Gies. And we would always joke around, if you want a job in, Mozambique or India or Israel, I might not know someone, but I know someone that knows someone through the Gies network, and everyone is able to help each other out. So I tapped it significantly, a lot of emails, a lot of informational calls, ask questions. People, faculty, and business career services put me in touch with folks, much older, who could help me prepare for interviews and have me think about the right things, or point me into a right direction firm-wise. So they were there as a resource. And honestly, they're still there. I'm 5.5 years out. I'm still tapping into the network to see, what my next step is, what type of role I want to get into. And it's a really unique and helpful tool. And you become really close friends, even if you're similar age or you're 30, 40 years from now. One of my biggest mentors I met, through business career services, and, he's 65 years old, retired, but I'm still utilizing him for helpful information and advice. And so I think once you're a Gies alum, it kind of stays that way. And if there's anything, you can bond over, our football and basketball teams. So it helps.
That's true. And that's great advice. What do you think employers most appreciate about the students from Gies, Anabel?
That's a great question. So I think a lot of it is just the recognition. The college does have very strong academic programs. So employers know they are getting very talented and capable students just through their academic trajectory. But I think on top of the academics and the technical knowledge that students are leaving the Gies College of Business with is a lot of transferable power skills. So as Abhinav has mentioned, there is a lot of student organizations that students are leading their junior, senior year. So students are coming in with leadership skills, they're coming in with problem solving skills, they are also developing very strong communication skills, all which employers are finding. And then the last thing I also notice from our employers is the professionalism of
Right.
these students, like being able to go through that hiring process, networking, interviewing, and just communication through within that process demonstrates how professional and how ready the students are to enter the workplace when they leave the college.
That's great. Yeah, Abhinav, let me ask you a question that will make you recall your early years. I wonder if there's something you wish you knew before you stepped foot on campus that you didn't, that's somehow related to your exploration of careers and where you ended up.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think one thing I didn't take advantage or wish I explored more was just there's a lot of avenues in business, and sometimes you can get focused in. And I think I became a little bit too focused, maybe near my end of freshman year, early sophomore year into this, hardcore corporate finance, investment banking path. And I wish I would have taken a step back and, taken advantage of an internship opportunity at a large corporation and, working in-house in finance there because that was an interest of mine, or looking into venture capital, and there's a lot of organizations at Gies, focus on entrepreneurship. I took some few classes, but I didn't really, dive in more. And I wish I would have, spent more time doing that and taken some of that advantage of all the things that's offered. You can't do it all, but I think if I went back, I would have spent some more time doing that, probably still end up in my career where I am now. But as I think about my next steps, I'm thinking about corporation, I'm thinking about entrepreneurship and having some more of that skill set or exposure earlier on. I wish I would have done more so, but I don't like to live my life with many regrets. And that's the best part about the Alumni Network, right? I can just bother my friends who actually took advantage of that and bother them about entrepreneurship and have them teach me what they learned on campus.
Plus, I'm willing to bet that your early focus was important in your success. I happen to think that the earlier people are directed and have an aim, the more likely it is that they will have a positive outcome. Abhinav, what would you say, what's the impact that Gies overall has had on your career so far?
Yeah, it's a tough question to put into words. I think a profound impact for sure. Professionally, I would not be here where I am, without the Gies network, without alumni, taking a chance on me, learning from alumni, learning from the professors, faculty, and utilizing the network to get a job in, like you mentioned, in a really good industry and in a really good firm. I think from a personal relationship standpoint, I'm getting married in May next year. I met my fiance through Business 101. We were both section leaders.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it. And it's just, that's the Gies network, on campus and even now. And, when we get married, I would assume 90% of our friends there are U of I, Gies graduates. And I think, personal relationships of friends and coworkers, professors continue on throughout this day. The deans as well. It's a very unique campus where the students, like Anabel mentioned, are very leadership driven, very work hard, play hard, make it impact driven, and I think you become really intertwined with the professors, the faculty, all the members and organizations. So I think that's been really helpful. And I would say lastly, just always a smile on your face. You have a lot of pride from Illinois, from Gies. And just talking about it and spreading the mission and seeing the great rankings every year. And I think that's, the largest impact is I'm just really prideful and excited to say that, I went to Gies, I had a great 4-year program and proud to be an alumni.
Well, Gies has not only had a profound impact on your professional life, it's clearly had a profound impact on your personal life as well. If you're getting married to someone you met at the school, and most of the guests who will be coming to your wedding were classmates. That's fantastic. I love that.
Yeah, I'm fortunate indeed, for sure. And I was a part of a program too, the Gies Scholars Program, focused on leadership. And it's funny, every year one or two folks, they find their soulmates. And I've been to a couple weddings where there's been it's a Gies wedding in a weird way, and a lot of orange and blue in the decor and the themes, and it kind of resonates throughout your life, which is nice. And I'm hoping, when I'm 50 years old, I'm retired and coming to basketball games and teaching a class or something part-time at the university.
That's great. Anabel, what advice do you have for applicants about how to choose a program that's right for them and their career aspirations? And we'll end with that.
That is a very hard question, but I will try to tackle it. I think finding a program that fits well with your career aspirations, fits well with kind of what you hope to pursue with your business degree. I will say for the College of Business, specifically, there are a lot of opportunities, as we mentioned, for students to engage with employers and network and explore and discover. There's also action learning projects that students get to get hands-on experience working with real world business problems, tackling those. And as Abhinav mentioned, also kind of finding a sense of family, sense of belonging, in a safe environment where you can actually be successful. So those are probably, as I would recommend students, if I was an advising counselor, to consider when they're choosing their business school.
So the answer to the question, where can a Gies business degree take you? Anywhere you want to go. There are lots of specializations and majors to choose from. There are a lot of internship and full-time job opportunities, and a lot of hand-holding and support and encouragement to help you get the right fit. Well, hey, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Really enjoyed our conversation. It was a pleasure to meet both of you. Abhinav, great luck and success in your future career. And Anabel, I know you're going to be guiding hundreds of students in the future to their careers in the same way that Abhinav has sort of really connected and done a great job in investment banking. So thank you.
Thank you, John. Really appreciate it. Go Illini.
There you go. Good luck. And for all of you out there, thanks for joining us. This is John Byrne with Poets and Quants.